One month swiftly flowed by in a quiet fashion. This 1 month was as calm as one could imagine. Even with the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe helping to investigate the Hall of Souls, the results had not been extremely happy. The Hall of Souls seemed to have decreased the size of its faction this time around. Even though the spies from the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe were able to find some Hall of Souls branch halls, they were unable to venture any deeper because of the defenses that had been tightened over 10 times. The Sky Mansion Alliance felt somewhat pressured because of this situation, but it was impossible for them to gather their strength to destroy all the branch halls. Everyone knew that this war would eventually end with one party being eliminated from the Central Plains. This party could be the Hall of Souls, or it could be the Sky Mansion Alliance. Neither party dared to make this gamble. Hence, everyone could only just watch and wait at this moment. The day the medicinal ceremony of the Yao Clan would be held slowly arrived under the build-up of this quiet pressure. The main mountain in the Star Realm. It is fine if only Xiao Yan and I to head to the Yao Clan this time around. The Alliance must pay attention to the Hall of Souls at all times. Everyone should carefully guard the Alliance land in order to handle any unexpected changes. Clouds drifted above the main mountain, while Yao Lao looked over the upper echelons from the Alliance and laughed. Although they were a little worried about Xiao Yan and Yao Lao heading to the Yao Clan alone, Feng Zunjia and the others could only nod their heads after Yao Lao insisted. Take good care of the Alliance. Xiao Yan looked at Kai Lin, who was holding Xiao Xiao, as he spoke. Aye. Kai Lin slightly nodded. With her current strength, other than Xiao Qin and the ancestor from the Pill Tower, no one in the Alliance surpassed her. Xiao Yan felt more assured with her remaining with the Alliance. Haha, all right. Everyone, there is no need to send us off any further. Yao Lao slowly rose into the sky as he laughed to everyone. Subsequently, he turned around and hurried out of the Star Realm. Xiao Yan's body flashed behind him and quickly followed. The Yao Clan was situated in the Shanglong mountain range, which were nestled in the far south of the Central Plains. From a certain point of view, that area could be considered outside of the Central Plains. Hence, it appeared extremely far. However, the height of a mountain was unimportant. The main factor was who lived there. This was also the case for this mountain range. Although the Shanglong mountain range was considered a wild region since it was filled with poisonous insects and ferocious beasts that were rare to the Central Plains, this area was still quite lively because of the Yao Clan. Moreover, this mountain range was filled with many rare medicinal ingredients. Plenty of alchemists would travel this great distance to find the medicinal ingredients they needed to refine a pill in this mountain range. Hence, this Shanglong mountain range was quite lively. The medicinal ceremony was the most important event of the Yao Clan. It was not held on a fixed day. It would change depending on how various events developed. In summary, this medicinal ceremony was somewhat similar to the pill gathering of the Pill Tower. From a certain point of view, it could be considered a gathering of peak alchemists on the continent. Only this gathering would reveal who the top-ranked alchemists were on this continent. Other than the members of the Yao Clan, those who could join the medicinal ceremony were alchemist gurus from the Central Plains, who boasted great reputations and skills as alchemists. However, usually very few individuals were invited. After all, the alchemists who could catch the eye of the Yao Clan were existences as rare as a phoenix feather or a unicorn horn. Nevertheless, this did not hinder the medicinal ceremony from being grand. The sole reason for this grandness was to name the top alchemist on the continent. The Star Realm was extremely far from the Shanglong mountain range where the Yao Clan was located, but the long journey only took half a day for Xiao Yan and Yao Lao. Hence, the fog-covered Shanglong mountain range appeared in front of their eyes around evening. What a dense natural energy! This Yao Clan has really found a good spot. Even Xiao Yan involuntarily praised the Shanglong mountain range after arriving here for the first time. The clouds churning in the air above the mountain range were not ordinary. They had been formed from natural energy. One would train faster if one trained in this place. This mountain range was nurtured by an ancestor from the Yao clan for a couple of centuries in order to facilitate this fertility. Yao Lao's eyes scanned this familiar yet foreign mountain range with a complicated expression. This was the first time he had returned ever since he left back then. He softly sighed and slowly began to descend. Finally, he landed near a deep stream in the deepest part of the mountain range. There was a few thousand-foot-tall stone archway quietly standing on the opposite side of the stream. An ancient aura spread from the archway. The middle of the archway was a distorted space. This was the entrance to the Yao clan's realm. There was a continuous stream of people flying down from the sky or from deep in the mountains. These people would land outside of the huge stone archway. They would then take out a jade token and hand it to some guards who were wearing the robes of the Yao clan before being allowed in. Let's go. This medicinal ceremony is the Yao clan's greatest event. Some of the nearby fractions that rely on the Yao clan are allowed to enter and observe it. This period of time is very lively for the Yao clan. Yao Lao's eyes swept over those figures entering the spatial door before speaking. Xiao Yan slightly nodded. His body flashed and appeared outside the archway. A couple of figures stood there like statues. Their sharp eyes shot over as they cried out. This is an important area of the Yao clan. You are not allowed to trespass. Who are you? The eyes of these few people were extremely sharp. They managed to identify that Xiao Yan did not belong to a nearby factions from just glance, because even the chiefs of the factions that came would present a humble expression. However, this person's calm appearance in front of them did not display any respect or fear for the Yao clan. Those human figures coming and going around the deep stream halted. Their eyes were curious as they looked at Xiao Yan and Yao Lao. Sky Mansion Alliance, my teacher, Yao Clan, has been invited to participate in the medicinal ceremony. Xiao Yan glanced at the few of them. His foot gently stepped forward as a monstrous aura suddenly erupted from him. It forced those few individuals back. Those people from the various neighboring factions immediately inhaled a cold breath. Only those chiefs with greater experience revealed an expression of understanding. Private conversations immediately began to spread. It is actually Yao Clan from the Sky Mansion Alliance. Does that not mean that this person is Xiao Yan, who defeated the chief of the Hall of Souls? It is unexpected that even he has come. It is rumored that Xiao Yan is the champion of the Pill Tower's Pill Gathering. He possesses an extremely high attainment in terms of alchemist skills. In terms of Do Qi in combat, it is likely that he is very strong. However, if he wants to compare alchemist skills at the door of the Yao clan, he is really asking to suffer. That is difficult to say. The expressions of those few guards changed slightly after hearing the surrounding soft voices. Xiao Yan's name was extremely well known even among these ancient clans. The declined Xiao clan still managed to produce such an outstanding individual. This was a miracle. Xiao Yan glanced at all of them but didn't feel like finding fault with them. He randomly threw a jade token over. A guard received it and studied it for a moment before sighing in relief. A light pillar shot out and struck the large door. A spatial fluctuation appeared, giving it a distorted feeling. Misters, please. There will be someone to lead the both of you into the clan once you enter. This time around, these guards appeared a lot more respectful. Strength was always honored in this world. Xiao Yan's strength was comparable to the Grand Elders within their Yao clan. They did not dare to offend him. Xiao Yan nodded. He turned around and glanced at Yao Lao behind him. Yao Lao inhaled a deep breath of air and slowly nodded to him. After which, the both of them moved and rushed into the distorted space at the same time. Their vision became slightly dazzled after they entered the spatial fluctuation. The mountain range in front of them turned into lush green plains. There were many huge bird beasts with wings that were thousands of feet in size resting on the green ground. "Misters, please come this way." Xiao Yan and Yao Lao had just landed when a member of the Yao clan wearing armor swiftly walked over. He led them onto a huge bird. At this moment, there was already a couple hundred figures standing on it. It was extremely lively on the bird. Xiao Yan, who had experienced a similar process in the Gu clan, was familiar with such a situation. He did not chat with anyone. Instead, he and Yao Lao headed to a spot with fewer people and quietly studied the huge planes. The huge bird flapped its large wings after the two of them boarded. Finally, it stirred a wild wind as it whistled up into the sky. It then swiftly flew toward the deeper parts of the Yao clan's realm. This flight continued for around half an hour. Only then did Xiao Yan sense the speed of the huge bird slow. His eyes looked into the distance and saw a cloud part. A towering mountain that penetrated the cloud appeared in his sight. It was vaguely possible to see clusters of large halls and buildings on the huge mountain. Countless smoke pillars slowly rose into the sky, filling the air with a rich pill fragrance. The large bird circled the large mountain before finally landing in a square. Xiao Yan and Yao Lao slowly descended. Yao Lao looked at the familiar surrounding and became a little absent-minded. Xiao Yan did not interrupt Yao Lao's absent-minded state. He quietly stood beside Yao Lao with both of his hands in front of him in his sleeves. His eyes narrowed, and he completely ignored the surrounding strange glances. The two figures standing in the square appeared exceptionally glaring in front of the people coming and going. Hence, after a couple of minutes, a somewhat familiar elderly laugh was slowly transmitted into Yao Lao's and Xiao Yan's ear. "I was wondering who it is that doesn't know the rules. It is actually the two of you, however. Yao Chun, this elderly self is really a little surprised that someone like you, who was expelled from the clan, possesses the face to return." The footsteps of the surrounding individuals slowed. They looked at the old man, who was slowly walking over with a cold smile. All of them wisely stepped back. "Yao Wangue." Xiao Yan slowly relaxed both of his hands that had been inserted into his sleeve. He lifted his eyes and glanced at that somewhat familiar old man. His voice was calm as the corner of his mouth was lifted into an ice-cold arc. The human crowd within the square spread like flowing water. Immediately, a group of figures wearing the robes of the Yao clan slowly walked over. Their gazes contained some surprise and disdain as they swept over Yao Lao's body. There was a somewhat shady-looking old man with blade-like lips in the leader's position. This person was the person in charge of meting out punishments within the Yao clan. Xiao Yan had met him outside the demonic flame realm back then. He was also an elder of the Yao clan, whom Yao Lao had a deep grudge against. Yao Wangue. Yao Chen? Chi. Isn't he that useless person who was expelled from our Yao clan? He is already a bunch of old bones, yet he doesn't know how to quietly wait for his end. He must have come to our Yao clan to be humiliated. That's right. Ha, elder, given your status, what is there to talk about with this abandoned person? Those human figures clustered around Yao Wangue understood that he really disliked the duo in front of him after hearing his condescending words. Many flattering and bootlicking voices appeared one after another. Yao Wangue's position within the Yao clan was extremely high. If one were to gain his recognition, one's position within the clan would soar. Hence, this Yao Wangue had never lacked such people beside him. Yao Wangue enjoyed when many people praised him. Hence, regardless of where he went within the clan, there was a large group of people following behind him, flattering him. Although these people might not even recognize the people they ridiculed at times, they were very good at recognizing Yao Wangue's expression. As long as he showed an unfriendly expression, they would not show any mercy in criticizing the other party. After all, would anyone really dare to touch them within the Yao clan? While these people were merciless with their words, the eyes they used to look at the duo in front of them also became harsher, as though acting like this would allow them to be recognized by Yao Wangue. Those not from the Yao clan present in the square quietly shook their heads. These ancient clans had sealed themselves away and usually viewed everything that happened within the Central Plains with disdain. However, those from the Central Plains were clearly aware of the reputation and status that Yao Clan currently held within the Central Plains. The Sky Mansion Alliance's chief. The Sky Mansion Alliance was a powerful faction that could even force a strong faction like the Hall of Souls to withdraw from its position as overlord. It was also a faction that was without a doubt the current overlord of the Central Plains. Although the Yao clan was powerful, those who were aware of the situation understood that even the Yao clan did not possess the qualification to look down on the Sky Mansion Alliance. Moreover, no one would forget the most extraordinary aspect. Yao Clan, who was already extremely old, was not his achievements nor was it the current Sky Mansion Alliance. Instead, it was his disciple. His disciple had become the champion of the Pill Towers Pill Gathering a couple of years ago, making a name for himself in the Central Plains at that time. After establishing a name for himself, he had continued to rely on his own strength to merge with the Pill Tower, the Flower Sect, and the Burning Flame Valley to establish the current Sky Mansion Alliance with its powerful lineup. Its might was comparable to the overlord of the Central Plains, the Hall of Souls. During the many subsequent years of fighting, the alliance had become even stronger and had even become a powerful existence within the Central Plains. In the Fallen Mountain battle half a year ago, he had even fought the chief of the Hall of Souls alone and won. Since then, the position of overlord in the Central Plains had shifted. Just listening to the many achievements was enough to cause one's blood to boil. If a man born in this world was able to achieve these, he could be considered a man among men. The name of that disciple was Xiao Yan. The chiefs or grand elders from the various factions within the Central Plains in the square exchanged glances with each other, after which they withdrew some distance with a complicated expression in their eyes. They did not open their mouths to help Yao Wangue just because this was the home of the Yao clan. This old fellow Yao Wangue is really asking to suffer. Some people, who noticed the cold arc on Xiao Yan's face after his teacher was harshly mocked, involuntarily thought and gloated to themselves, "Teacher, leave everything to me. All you need to do is place the names of your parents on the clan tablet when the time comes." The smile on Xiao Yan's face was a little dense as he turned his head and softly laughed. Yao Lao did not reply. However, his slightly trembling beard revealed the waves within his heart. What arrogant words! Yao Wangue, who still had a smile on his face because of the flattering voices around him, formed a chilly expression in his eyes. He coldly laughed. An abandoned person does not possess the right to leave his name on the clan tablet. Yao Chan, you should stop dreaming. Elder is right. Allowing you to participate in the medicinal ceremony is already the greatest kindness of our clan. Yao Chan, you should know your limits and not demand for more. Do you think the clan tablet is something that an abandoned person like you can leave his name on? Chi, Elder Wangue. Why don't you head to the Elder Council and ask them to expel these two and prevent them from dirtying your eyes? Those people by the side joyously praised when they saw Yao Wangue about to burst out in fury. Have all of you said enough? Xiao Yan continued to smile as he looked at the members of the Yao clan, whose mouths were filled with evil words. He softly demanded an answer. You should be a little wiser to the situation. A skinny man standing near Yao Wangue glanced at Xiao Yan. However, before he could finish speaking, he suddenly sensed a strong force coming down from above his head, after which his body suddenly fell. His head was ruthlessly smashed into the ground. The ground split apart as fresh blood shot out of him. This sudden, unexpected change caused everyone to feel startled. By the time they had recovered, they could only see a leg stepping on that fellow's head. They shifted their eyes, and the smiling face of a young man appeared in their sights. What swift speed! The hearts of many in the square trembled slightly. They did not even manage to see Xiao Yan attack. That person had not even said all that he had wanted to say before his head was buried in the floor. Xiao Yan, you are really bold. This is my Yao Clan. Yao Wangui was also startled by this change. His expressions had swiftly become dark and solemn as he cried out in a sharp voice. Bam! His cry had yet to cease when another person, who had spoken viciously earlier, rolled through the air. After which, a mouthful of fresh blood was spat out with some shattered teeth. Only after he landed on the ground did everyone see a heart-chilling blood-red handprint on his face. The crowd around Yao Wangui finally revealed shocked expressions in their eyes upon seeing the miserable fate of those two. They hurried to lean closer to Yao Wangui, but before they could shift a foot, many after-images suddenly flashed in front of them. A continuous stream of slapping sounds echoed away at the same time. Soon after, the bodies of everyone in that group except Yao Wangui flew back. The fresh blood and teeth that covered the ground caused one to swallow one's saliva. In the blink of an eye, the ground was covered with fresh blood. Those individuals who had fearlessly humiliated Yao Lao earlier were all hugging their faces and rolling around like dead dogs. Sharp screeches were emitted. Xiao Yan. Yao Wangui's face turned gloomy. His eyes also became completely red. Xiao Yan's actions were not only teaching a lesson to these young fellows, it was also giving him a slap in front of a countless number of people. This was the first time that he had encountered such a humiliation in so many years. Good. What an arrogant little bastard. Do you think that you are qualified to challenge my Yao Clan just because there is the so-called Sky Mansion Alliance behind you? You had yet to even appear when this elderly self dominated the continent. Yao Wangui's furious low roar reverberated over the square. Yao Clan guards, capture this arrogant person. Yao Wangui suddenly pointed at Xiao Yan and sternly cried out. Understood. Some human figures immediately appeared after Yao Wangui's cry sounded. Dozens of figures in black metal armor and holding long spears surrounded Xiao Yan. A low cry sounded, and they attacked together. Sharp Do Chi whistled toward the fatal spots around Xiao Yan's body. Bang! Spear shadows flashed, but before they could approach Xiao Yan, an extremely terrifying fire wave surged out of Xiao Yan's body. Wherever the wave spread, it shifted under the long spear covered in a powerful Do Chi. Those dozen-plus figures flew back after having suffered a serious blow. The black armor on their bodies turned into ashes, revealing many startled faces. What a powerful aura! Did this fellow really rely on his own strength to defeat Han Miesheng? Yao Wangui's eyes suddenly shrank after he detected this frightening fire wave. He immediately felt some disbelief. When he had met Xiao Yan back then, Xiao Yan had only been a 2-star dosheng. How was it possible for Xiao Yan to improve so quickly within a short few years? This elderly self shall see just what right you have to act atrociously in my Yao Clan. Although Yao Wangui felt shocked in his heart, he was also considered one of the top experts within the Yao Clan. He was extremely furious because of Xiao Yan's arrogant actions. He stepped forward. The powerful aura of a 4-star dosheng erupted without restraint. Those surrounding individuals were forced back a couple dozen meters. Even the chiefs and grand elders of some of factions displayed grave expressions. Although this Yao Wangui possessed very little magnanimity, there was no need to dispute his strength. Xiao Yan glanced at Yao Wangui, who had unleashed his strength to the limit. Not only did he not appear solemn, he also slowly shook his head. He lifted his foot and gradually walked toward the Yao Wangui. While he stepped forward, an aura that was 10 times more frightening than Yao Wangui's aura erupted in all directions. It caused the expressions of many to immediately change. Back then, I told you that your life is mine.